Welcome to Envisioned Broadcasting. Envisioned Broadcasting, the station designed to encourage, equip, and empower you for growth and success. An affiliate of Direct Impact Broadcasting and Creative Broadcasting, presenting the EmPower Hour with Jaresha, a show that shares the stories behind the journeys of leaders, influencers, and motivators. The EmPower Hour with Jaresha begins now.
Welcome to EmPower Hour with Jaresha. I am your host, Jaresha Moore. A little bit about myself. I am a best-selling author with over 18 years of combined experience in education, finance, healthcare, business management, and development, and sales. Owner and founder of EmPower on Purpose, LLC, where we provide leadership training and personal professional coaching and consulting services. Certified coach, speaker, and trainer with the John Maxwell team, and owner of Envision Broadcasting radio station. So today, the empowerment quote is, be yourself, not your idea of what you think somebody else's idea of yourself should be, by Henry David Thoreau. So here's my question. Who are you? This question may seem so simple, but the fact of the matter is that many of us don't know who we are because we're too busy trying to be what we see or who other people think we should be. This quote to me is all about discovering your own identity and knowing who you are. Who is that person looking back at you in the mirror? The world tries to tell us what to think, what to feel, and how to live our life. But you have the power and the control over your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Most of our perspective is learned behavior that we've developed over the years. So when we think about it, when someone who else believes to have it, the way that we look at it is, okay, we think that we should have it all based off of what we see, what we hear, and so on and so forth. We want to be just like that person. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with having role models that you aspire to be like, but you can't allow other people's lives, thoughts, feelings, and actions to really define you or who you are. So the question is, how in the world can you and I define who we are? Well, first, I believe that you must be very clear and transparent with yourself. That means you have to be willing to spend time with yourself to discover who you truly are. We are all very unique, and we all have very unique gifts and talents. I believe that we are all created for greatness, but so often we want someone else's greatness instead of discovering our own. To me, in order to discover who you are, you have to spend time with yourself and ask yourself questions and be totally honest with yourself. I would definitely recommend journaling. The questions I would suggest you ask yourself are, what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? So I really love this question, but I really love asking other people to answer this question for themselves because it's all about risk and fear. But, let's be real. And if you are being totally honest with yourself, many of us would be doing something totally different from what we're doing right now. But you know what? This question helps you discover, when you ask yourself, you discover what you really want to do, what you like, and it truly helps you know who you are, and as I mentioned, what you truly like. The second question that I would highly recommend that you ask yourself is, if I had to describe myself to someone who I admire or would love to meet one day, how would I describe myself to that person? And you would want to describe yourself to that person in a way that they would truly understand who you are and what's important to you. So I'll tell you guys, I would love to meet Michelle Obama one day. And if I had that opportunity to chat with Michelle Obama and she asked me, describe yourself, think about that. That's someone that I admire. But think about the person that you admire. What would you say? How would you describe yourself? The next question I would suggest that you ask yourself is, what are your core values? And make a list of those personal values that you believe are important in the way that you live. And then ask yourself what truly makes you genuinely happy. And be honest with yourself. The last question I would ask, and it kind of ties in with the first question, but if money weren't an object, how would you live your life differently? Now, this question, as I mentioned, definitely ties in with that first question because it truly goes hand in hand. It allows you to reflect on what you truly want in your life right now. Here is what I will tell you. Whether you ask yourself these questions or other questions, the point is to discover who you are and what you want, and don't get caught up in who other people think you should be. Give yourself permission to be you. Why? Because you are great. You are created for greatness. You just have to be willing to be your authentic self. And if you don't, it's okay, but it's not okay for you not to start getting to know who you are. And what I will tell you is you can do that today. So I challenge each and every one of you to ask yourself just one question every single day to discover who you are and continue to getting to know yourself better. And that will then transition into becoming the best version of yourself. Because what I will tell you is that you are truly, truly, truly worth it. So I'm really, really excited to share with you guys who my special guest is today. My special guest is Tyann Enos. Tyann Enos received her associate's degree from Prince George's Community College with a passion for education and learning. She decided to further her education and received the following degrees from the University of Maryland University College: Bachelor of Science in Human Resource Management, Master of Science in Interdisciplinary Studies of Management with a concentration in Human Resources, and a Master of Business Administration, MBA. She refers to herself as a lifelong student and as a lover of knowledge. She is the founder and owner of TE Talks, LLC, a motivational speaking organization that encourages and inspires people to live life to the fullest. Her company slogan is, "What you need to hear to get you there." Ms. Enos is an accomplished senior human resources professional with more than 25 years of experience in public and private sectors. She has a wealth of knowledge and possesses an expansive depth and breadth of information in human resources. Ms. Enos' expertise includes talent management, strategic management, training and development, performance management, and leadership coaching. She employs strategic and forward thinking, which gives her the advantage when helping organizations make forecasts using innovative strategies. She also has participated on panels and in forums. In addition, she has facilitated marriage counseling sessions as well as workshops in human resources. Currently, Tyann is a member of the First Baptist Church of Glenarden. Throughout the years, she has served on the various ministries, including the hospitality ministry, which is her favorite. With a passion for people, she loves to serve others and believes that it's better to give than to receive. She also enjoys spending quality time with family and friends, volunteering, traveling, and she's an avid reader. Ms. Enos has 3 children who are the love of her life. If you wish to connect with Ms. Enos, you can contact her via email at tyannEnosTalks@gmail.com or via her website, www.tetalksllc.net. Welcome. I am so excited to have you on the show this evening, Tyann. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much, Jaresha, for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So I just shared some of your amazing bio. I would love if you would just, share just a little bit more about yourself and And, of course, we know you have a passion for learning and education. And tell us a little bit more about yourself, something that I actually didn't mention in your bio.
Okay. Well, one thing, last month I joined the 50 Club. I turned 50, so I'm so excited. Also, I was born and raised on the Eastern Shore, Cambridge, Maryland. It's also known as Groove City. And I have 3 brothers, Brian, Oliver, and Antoine. My parents still reside on the Eastern Shore. They've been married for 48 years. And you already mentioned my 3 children. In addition to me having a business, I am now a published author. So that's a little bit about me.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So, I'll tell you, I know you have 3 children. I have 4. And my goodness, I know that, as a mom, it just, we wear so many different hats. I love the fact that you mentioned that you refer to yourself as a lifelong student and that you love knowledge. Do you think that, someone ever gets too old to learn?
Absolutely not. I would ask you the question, what is old? And for me, it's a number. It's really a number. I know of someone who's in her 90s who's still on Facebook and sends me messages. And so I hope to be that person as well. But we can always learn something. For example, right now I'm learning quite a bit about stocks from a special friend of mine. And so we continually have to look for areas in which we can learn and just gain knowledge. And so I'm excited about that.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit more about, your business. I like that you say that you help your clients not only, obtain wellness in body, but in mind as well. Could you kind of give us a little bit more about, exactly what you do and how you help your clients?
Okay. So TE Talks LLC is a motivational speaking business. In addition to that, I've had the opportunity to do some coaching along the lines of, when I think of, it's a triangle of life is what I would like to call it. And so it's mind, body, and emotion/spirit. And either those two, meaning the mind and body, are connected or they're disconnected. We know what that looks like when they are disconnected. We may see someone and they seem unfocused, or there seems to be calamity. And so my opinion of that is the mind is a battlefield. It can be the home of your, I guess when you think about it, your greatest enemy. So living a life of ease and fulfillment allows for your body, mind, and emotions to be in alignment. So it's almost as if your inner self is congruent with your outer self, if that makes any sense, Jaresha. And so when all 3 are aligned, I think you can show up and be the best you and be authentic. And so when it comes to your relationships with your family, your friends, even your career, you're more so living your best life while also moving to your own drum. And so that's kind of how I see the triangle when I think of mind, body, and emotion/spirit.
Absolutely. And, I'm sure that we both can attest to right now being a time where, you think of the mind, body, and spirit and how we're all quarantined. And, from a mental, standpoint, I can just speak from how things have been going, with my kids and being home and just having conversations with other people that are quarantined and really going through really having to continue to put their wellness, I guess, in check, or making sure they're practicing that self-care, to make sure they are focused on the mind, body, and spirit. So, I definitely think that that is very important. And the fact that you are able to help, kind of coach, your clients through that, I think is much needed, especially such a time as this. So I think it's really interesting also that you, in your bio, you shared that you facilitated marriage counseling sessions as well as workshops in human resources. Tell us a little bit more about some of the workshops that, in the sessions that you have facilitated?
Okay, great. When I was living in North Carolina, I had the opportunity to become certified, so getting trained, and it's a series that's called Fireproof Your Marriage. And when I was first asked about doing this, I said, well, I'm divorced, so why am I, why are you, I was going to a particular church at that time. I said, so why have you selected me of all people? And I remember at that time, the young lady said, she gave me a whole list of all the reasons why. And so I went through the training, and the fulfilling part of Fireproof Your Marriage, that particular session, is things often get worse before they get better for people. But what is very gratifying to me, there are 2 couples now that I'm still in contact with. And so through the training and the counseling sessions I was able to give them, they're still, married. And so when you hear those cases and the fact that they still keep in contact with me, that's very gratifying. When it comes to human resources, I do work in that discipline. I've had the opportunity to build curriculums from the ground up. And so there are various workshops, whether it's recruiting, whether it's on, it could also be on behavioral interviewing questions, anything around human resources. And I do really enjoy training, talking with people, and also hearing the success stories when they come back later to me and say, hey, want to let you know this training was helpful, beneficial, etc. So I do enjoy doing that.
Absolutely. That's awesome. And tell us a little bit more about the various ministries that you have been a part of, including the hospitality ministry.
Well, I've had the opportunity to be in charge of what they call the toddlers as well as the children's Sunday school. So I was actually the leader over that, coming up with the arts and crafts, and that definitely was not my creative niche, but learned how to do that very quickly. So the hospitality ministry, though, is the ministry which is my favorite. I really enjoy serving others. I really like being able to be up front and center, and when someone walks in the doors, whatever you can do to make them coming into the church a more rewarding experience. And so whether it's finding a fan for someone or whatever someone needs, I really enjoy just serving others.
Absolutely. And, and I think that, as coaches, I think it's truly all about being able to serve and add value to others at all different capacity in all areas, in our lives. So I absolutely think that's awesome. So what would you say, and this is to kind of shift gears just a little bit, what would you say has been the biggest accomplishment for you up to this point?
Oh, let me see. I would say there's probably 2. The first one is September of 2019. I was able to have a women's luncheon. And as a matter of fact, it's something that has been on my radar for probably 20 years. And I kept saying, okay, I'll get to it. And so having a women's luncheon, I had about 85 people that were in attendance. But on that same day, I was able to launch my book. And that was one of the biggest accomplishments because I had started writing a book about something else many years ago, but actually writing my book, which is now on Amazon, which I'm so thankful for and very appreciative. One of my girlfriends, Deirdre Avant, helps me with that endeavor. But my book is now on Amazon, so I'm excited about that, along with my business, which is TE Talks LLC. So really excited about those accomplishments. As you do know, being a business owner yourself, there's a lot of work and a lot of teeth you have to put into it. And so those would be my biggest accomplishments.
Absolutely. And I think those are awesome accomplishments. I would love it if you would tell us more about your book.
Okay, sure. The name of my book is I Said No to Cancer, My Faith Walk to Victory. And so my book is about, and I had no intentions on writing a book, so So one of my biggest challenges, Jaresha, was in January of 2018, being diagnosed with terminal lung cancer, given 6 months to live. And the news actually was given to me on my daughter's birthday. And never smoked, banned my life, couldn't tell you how to hold a cigarette if you paid me to do it. That was one of the biggest challenges. However, out of that challenge for me did birth the book, I Said No to Cancer, My Faith Walks to Victory, as well as my business. And there have been people over the years that have said, you know, you need a motivational business. You're very positive, et cetera. I'm like, no, not me. But you would be surprised out of sometimes your biggest challenge, how you end up, there's a whole nother product or there's more for you to do. And so the best way, something that comes to mind is sometimes when you're at rock bottom, there are lessons that rock bottom would teach you that the mountaintop never will. And so that's the best way I can kind of put, which was one of my biggest challenges. And when you think about, for example, let's say a potato and an egg, the same water that you use to soften the potato can be the same water that hardens an egg. So it's what you're made of that actually helps you get through those challenges and what the circumstances are. And so just what exactly are you made of? And you really get to find your strength. And for me also, my faith was already solid, but now it's cement solid because, hey, more than 2 years later, it's almost 2.5 years later, I'm still here. And so, yes, I would say that was the biggest accomplishment. And then that was my biggest challenge, all wrapped up in one for you.
Absolutely. My goodness. Wow. What a testimony that, my goodness. I could not imagine. And you said on, your child's birthday to find out something like that. And I think it's absolutely amazing how you, you didn't allow that to, I guess, get you down. And as you said, you said no to cancer. So that is, I think that it's a story that so many people, and a testimony, a story that so many people really need to hear, especially, dealing with some of the things that's happening in the world and, the crisis and that's not stopping people being diagnosed every single day with cancer. And it's just, such a great and amazing story and testimony that, you can share and have shared with the world. So absolutely, we'll definitely share more information at the end of the show on how everyone can, purchase your book. That's absolutely amazing. When you started out with your business, what is one thing that you truly wish you would have known when you started your business?
One thing I wish I had known, now I do have a few friends that already have businesses, and they were willing to share all of their information, especially a girlfriend of mine, Deirdre Avant, that I mentioned earlier. But one thing I wish this would have helped with being organized, because when it was time to file my taxes for my business, there were a number of things that I didn't know that you could actually write off for your business, as long as it's business, related. And there were so many things, and so I found myself saying, you know what, I'm not ready for this meeting. Tell me all of the things that I need so I can come back. And so now I have folders, I'm organized with it, et cetera, but sometimes not knowing what you don't know. And so that would be the piece, just realizing there's a lot of tax write-offs, advantages, et cetera, but you have to make sure that you have all of your ducks in a row, et cetera, and so that you're not running around when it comes to filing the taxes for your business. And so that's one thing I would say that I wish I knew.
Absolutely. And, we both know that when you start a business, it's just, you're like a one-woman, one-man show. And so being organized, it's so important. At the same time, I heard you say organized, and then also just being able to, educate yourself on things that you don't know. because as you mentioned, we don't know what we don't know. And when you're starting out as an entrepreneur and, in the business world, there is a lot of things. I was just having a conversation with someone earlier today, and I literally told him, I said, you know what, there is a lot that I had to learn and a lot that I have learned when I started my business. And fast forward years later, there's still a lot that I'm having to learn that you've learned a lot, but you still, you just never stop learning. And of course, as you shared, you definitely believe in, and, being that lifelong learner. And I think that applies in so many different areas of our life, not just the whole education side of things, but in business, because yes, there are tons and tons of tax breaks that, unfortunately, that most of us probably, kind of kick ourselves after, that tax season passes and, we get educated and know that, oh my gosh, there's so much more that I could have taken advantage of and didn't. So you also are one who believes that it is better to give than to receive. Can you just talk a little bit about that and how that is truly applied in your own life?
Well, I believe that, giving is contagious, and it also gives life meaning. Also, you are putting in the universe positive energy, and it also feels good. I mean, when you're able to feel that surge of dopamine because you're helping or you're giving to someone. And there have been times I've done things for people where others might say, hey, she was a little crazy for that. But it's something inside of me that's like, hey, go help this person, go do this or that. And a lot of times people want to know, well, how can I pay you back? What do I need to do? And I'm like, just pay it forward to someone else. And so I definitely love to give, and I think it's better to give than to receive. I really enjoy doing that. And I guess that also goes hand in hand what I stated earlier when it comes to the hospitality ministry.
Absolutely. It is so much better to give than to receive. Absolutely. And I definitely love being able to connect with others who, share those same values and truly, demonstrate that every day, whether it's in some kind of ministry or just within their business or their personal life. So absolutely. So I mentioned earlier in the show a quote by Henry David Thoreau, and the quote actually is, be yourself, not your idea of what you think somebody else's idea of yourself should be. Could you share what that means to you?
I really like that quote, and what it means to me is that it's important to, one, have self-awareness, but to be yourself because everyone else is taken. Everyone else has their own purpose, their own destiny, their own goals, etc. And so it's more than a job, being yourself and doing what you should be doing. Everyone doesn't have the same assignment. Everyone doesn't have the same gift. So, just be you, and being you should be enough. Not that you're not looking for opportunities to be a better you, but yes, I totally agree with the quote that you have there. Just be yourself. And when you show up as your authentic self, you will be surprised how people really appreciate and they see the transparency because you're being you and you're not trying to be someone else. And usually when you try to replicate someone else, it doesn't work in your favor anyway because that's not what you were supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I definitely agree with that 150% and love that quote. I think it's just, I love the empowerment quotes anyways, and I think it just really gives us something else to think on and reflect on as well. So we are, of course, and we talked about this a little bit already with the whole COVID-19 crisis and how, we are quarantined and some of the states are starting to open back up. But, literally everyone has been impacted in some kind of way. Can you share with us how maybe you have been impacted and perhaps even your business has been impacted?
Okay, I will speak from my business standpoint first. There were a number of events. I was really excited about 2020 There's the Black Authors and Readers Walk, which is in October, and I was registered for that event. Cindy Trim, who you know is a renowned author, she has an event that I was going to be participating. And so there was just, I want to say I probably had about 16 either speaking engagements or events in which I was going to be vending. Those have all been canceled due to COVID-19. And so when I think about it, it's almost as if we fell asleep in one world and we woke up in another. And when it comes to me personally being impacted by COVID, I'm very fortunate and blessed that I'm able to work from home. And so I'm not one of those that haven't been impacted in that way. So I'm working from home. But it also has helped me go back to the basics. A lot of times between working, whether you're meeting with someone about your business, et cetera, you're just constantly on the go. And I know for me, not being able to cook the way I wanted to, and so now I'm back to cooking. I'm spending quality time with my children, especially my youngest. Him and I, we go on these nature walks about 4 to 5 times a week. It gives you time to think and really be strategic. Like, for example, my vision board, I made some edits to that, just being able to think, because normally we're just moving so fast that we don't have time to do the things that we should be doing or we want to do. And so, yes, I've definitely been impacted, as well as knowing of some people that have been impacted by COVID-19. And so it definitely has, you know, like you stated, had an impact on everyone.
Yes, and it truly, as you mentioned, it has put a lot of things in perspective. So the family time, you know, being able to spend more time with, you know, our kids, that to me is huge. You know, going from kids being at school during the day and, you know, me being able to, you know, of course, go out and, you know, work and, you know, work on business and everything else outside of the home. And now everyone, you know, being home and just really having to, you know, be creative with different things, especially with kids. And, you know, because kids are always, oh, I'm bored, or, you know, what, you know, so they're always trying to be creative on different things that you can come up with. But it has definitely put things in perspective from being able to really spend that time with kids and, you know, and even being creative from how we're connecting with, you know, the people that we normally would do business with. You know, there's a lot of Zoom calls and everything else. So, yeah, we have all definitely been impacted in some kind of way. And the fact of the matter is, you know, not sure if or when we will be back to normal, or if we will. This may be our new norm for a while. So we are, of course, now in May, and, you know, it's still within the first half of the year. What would be one tip that you would give to anyone that is starting out a new business this year?
Well, definitely, someone starting out a new business this year would be what you would want to say in some trying times, looking at COVID-19. However, there are a number of, one thing I definitely would recommend is putting together a marketing plan and strategy. As you do know, that's very time-consuming, and you want to continue to look for opportunities to market your business. Don't leave any stone unturned. And so really get out there, because people are not going to know who you are if you're not marketing, if you're not getting things printed, just so that when you do have an event, because someone may not be willing to talk to you at that time because they're busy, or they may want to purchase product later, having your marketing materials, having everything set and ready, but definitely having a strategy, because as you do know, it's something continuously that it's a living document that you have to look at when it comes to being able to really get it out there, because if you don't, how's anyone going to know about your business? So marketing is really key, having that that solid marketing strategy.
Absolutely. That is, you know, like as you mentioned, that is absolutely key. And that's in, you know, the businesses that are able to, you know, provide different services or products, you know, online or virtually. And the ones that are waiting, you know, this is the time to start working on those marketing plans. that marketing strategy, as you mentioned, so that, whenever this whole thing does lift, you are ready to hit the ground running, and could potentially, because we have this huge social media, the social media platforms, and so therefore that provides an avenue for people to be able to connect, with their audiences and with clients as well. So I think that is really a great tip, a really, really great tip. So then on the flip side of that, just overall, if you had to give one piece of advice to our listeners on how they can empower their own growth and success journey, what would that advice be?
Well, there's a few pieces of advice I would give. One is to do what you are passionate about. Mm-hmm. You only get one life. There's not any do-overs. Mm-hmm. Think and dream big. If you put those things in place, and when I say think and dream big, also something that comes with dreaming is having that vision board, having that goal board, having that accountability partner, those project timelines, all of those things to keep you pushing forward so that you can achieve the goals that you have. And also surround yourself with positive people that have positive energy, and those people that are going to hold you. If you say you're going to do something, they're your accountability partners to make sure that you actually do what you say you're going to do. I think that's really key. And be an advocate for yourself. You can do it. If you believe you can do it, you can do it. And those words that come out of your mouth and that you put in the atmosphere is what you're going to get back. And so don't be a Debbie or a Donovan Downer, but just think positive. I can do it. I will do it. And, work on your strategy so that you can be successful in whatever your journey or what you're trying to do.
That's good. That's absolutely awesome pieces of advice and nuggets of wisdom for everyone. That is so important. Of course, you said so many important things. Vision board, accountability, just to kind of circle that one a little bit. Accountability is so important, and I don't think we really realize how important it is when, we set our goals and say, okay, well, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, and then it doesn't happen, and we try to hold ourselves accountable. So having that accountability partner, as you mentioned, is truly key when it comes down to really achieving those goals, and having that vision board as well, with manifesting, those goals as well. Absolutely. So could you share what do you have any big plans for the near future for your business, or what's coming up on the horizon for you?
Well, one of the things, I have finalized my logo, so I have a new logo, and also increasing something I stated earlier that I'm working on myself, is increasing my marketing presence, my social media presence. And as you do know, that's a job in itself, but really getting out there, and since I have, finalized my logo, that took more time than I wanted it to, but that's what I plan on doing. And going back to when you think and dream big, I have had this dream that one of these days I'm going to be on someone's talk show talking about my testimony and just some of the things that I'm doing. So I'm dreaming big, and I'm also thinking in my mind about what outfit I will wear when the opportunity comes. And so those are some of the things that I have on the horizon because I am thinking big.
Absolutely. And let me just say, because the outfit is very important. So if you don't have, that outfit picked out, yes.
I have seen some of the wardrobe blunders. I've seen some of those before. So, yes, definitely. I've seen that.
Absolutely. And, like you said, dream big, and, you're visualizing, you and speak it, affirm it every single day that this is going to happen. That's so good. That's so good. So I just, really want to just take the time to say thank you so much for sharing your amazing story and journey. Please tell us what or how the listeners can stay connected with you and support your efforts.
Okay, great. Well, one thing, definitely, if you have not purchased a copy of my book, please do so. You can purchase it on Amazon. You can put in Tyann Ennals, and that's Ennals, or you can put in the title, I Said No to Cancer, My Faith Walk to Victory. You can also purchase my book on my website, which is www.TETalks, and it's TALKS, so TETalks.LLC.net. You can purchase it on there. And my email address is Tyann, TIANNE, and my last name, which is Ennals, ENNALS, talks @gmail.com. And so that's how you can contact me. And thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it, Jaresha.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. I have truly enjoyed learning more about your journey and your story. And I definitely look forward to, just staying in touch with you and following what some of the amazing things that you're going to be doing next.
Thank you. And I also want to say thank you to, I'm sorry. I also want to say thank you to all of my listeners. No, actually, I wanted to say thank you to my listeners for, their support. And I have many that have been, golly, I want to say friends for 30 and 40 years that, I'm still in contact with them. We're still friends, and they support my business as well as my endeavors. So thank you to all family and friends. I really appreciate you.
Absolutely. And last, just want to say that I definitely wish you much success and blessings as you continue on your journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So listeners, thank you for tuning in to tonight's show with our special guest, Tyann Ennals. Tyann shared her amazing story and journey to encourage, equip, and empower you for growth and success. If you are interested in being a guest on the show, starting your own radio show or low-cost advertising, highlighting your book, business, or events, please email envisionb@empoweronpurpose.com. Please tune in next week where you will hear an amazing story and journey from another leader, influencer, and motivator. Until next time, be blessed.
Thank you for listening to the EmPower Hour with Jaresha, where Jaresha speaks with leaders, influencers, and motivators who share their journeys in personal and professional growth, empowerment tips, lessons learned, and keys of success that will empower you to be your best self. Follow Jaresha on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter @Jaresha Moore, and visit EmPowerOnPurpose.com. And remember to be intentional and be empowered, and have a great day on purpose.